Hey, what's going on? Embrace the Power Nation. Me and Mike G down here in the Tampa area, and we're about to chop it up with Ed Reyes, the lawyer. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about the challenges in the 21st century on how a lawyer takes that application and applies it to high school students to get them through some stressful days and maybe turn in the next generation of influencers. Mike, how are you doing, real quick?
Man, pretty good. It's a pleasure meeting you, Edward. How you been, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, guys. I am. I mean, you guys are doing big things. I'm just trying to be part of it.
So, Ed, how's the world treating you today? Did you make it to the gym? Because, me and you met at the gym, man, so.
Bro, that gym workout 3 hours long, and you were there already before me. Like, what the hell, bro? Damn, I worked out with him the other day, too, and I was like, shit, I got to go home already.
Hey, you know what? I don't think people really realize that we get in that early and work out 3 hours, man.
Yo,
and they only see the back end. They don't see the front end, man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I was actually going to the gym today, but I'll go tomorrow.
Hey, so Ed, I know you're a lawyer. So what kind of lawyer are you?
I'm a personal injury lawyer. So like accidents, injuries, stuff like that. People in car accidents, semi-truck, wrongful death cases, things like that.
Okay, so normally your clientele is pretty much in the Hillsborough County area.
I'm a Florida lawyer, so I get clients all over the place. But I get a lot in Hillsborough County. That's my primary my market because that's where my office is at.
All right, so you originally from Hillsborough County?
Yeah.
Oh, you born and raised?
Well, I was born in New Jersey.
Newark.
Yeah, my family's Cuban. They came from Cuba. I was born in New Jersey, but I came here when I was younger. I came when I was like 2 years old.
Oh, okay. All right. So what university did you go to?
To USF, and then for law school, I went to Cooley Law School.
Okay. All right. So, me and you were talking, and you had said you're very passionate about working with youth. So what made you get the transition? And, even though you're doing the law firm stuff, what made you transition into trying to help the youth here and locally in the town?
Bro, the thing is that like people get fake news and false news from the internet, and a lot of kids now, man, they don't have good mentors. Like they're following people because it looks like they have money, and it's the culture is the hustle culture, but it's not always a good thing, I guess.
Right.
They're always flossing, but a lot of these people don't have money like that, and I think they're modeling the wrong set of people in life. Like they have to learn like actual hard work, actual like work ethic to make them successful, not trying to do something on the side to try to get some paid real quick. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I think people are, kids are missing that. They need to know that life is hard, but yet if you put the work in, you could be pretty successful.
Yeah.
And so what was your upbringing? I mean, so kind of like, the tenets of what caused you to be who you are and how it translates today. So what was your upbringing kind of like?
Yeah. So growing up, not actually hard. I mean, my mom, she was, like I said, she came from Cuba. She worked at a corporation. I think she probably made like $10 an hour, which is not much. So we didn't live very well. We lived in Section 8 homes for a while. And then we finally moved to another area, which wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. And, because of the economic challenges, there's a lot of things that I couldn't do, schools I couldn't go to.
Right.
And, whenever you're growing up and you're a teenager and you don't have any money and you have your teenager friends, you think of great ideas. You have the great ideas, right? And
as long as everybody's broke in the same circle, it's okay,
Yeah. But sometimes when you're broke in the same circle, you're trying to get paid. You do, these ideas that are not good ideas.
Right.
So yeah. So I mean, I was a teenage dad. My wife, girlfriend then wife now. She's, she was 14 when she got pregnant, 15 when she had the baby, and I was 17 and 18 years old. I was still in high school. So wow. I had to grow up really fast. And I, I mean, the good thing is I have some, street smarts, which helped a lot. But I eventually opened up a when I was 22, 21, 22. I opened up a doctor's office, and the way I did that is I was flipping furniture, and I mean, I didn't have any money. Flipping furniture, I was going to people's houses, I was doing therapy there, I was going to the projects, I was meeting people, I was knocking on doors, I was talking to people. Like, hey, do you know anybody's been in car accidents? Then I ended up having the clinic for 13 years. I hired doctors and therapists and everything else. And it's crazy, man, is that education really wasn't a big, I was ignorant. I think I was, people would tell me, well, why don't you go to college? I'm like, I make more money than doctors make, when I had the clinic, right?
Right.
And then when the laws were changing, they wanted the doctors to be on the corporation, and because laws change. And
Right.
me to be an employee of my own company, my wife's like, well, why don't you go to law school? I'm like, that's a good idea. I was 31 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and then but I didn't have no degree at all, so I had to get my associates, my bachelor's, and then my law degree.
So you had to grind.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yo, imagine taking algebra at 31, 32 years old. That's like hieroglyphics. You don't even know.
Yeah,
I can agree. I can agree with that. I was the same age doing my BA, so yeah, I can agree.
Horrible, bro. Horrible. But you know what? I mean, I was probably the best dressed person in HEC. I had the suit on every day. I stood out like a sore thumb because they must have thought I was a teacher.
Oh, because the way you're rolling in. But you bring up a great point, and you talk about those challenges. But the thing is, you wouldn't be where you're at without those challenges. But the same thing is that grind of going back and getting education. I don't think people really understand that. My mom, I to this day, I bless my mom every day because she hit it right with the education piece.
That's awesome, bro.
Out the gate, the education.
Yeah.
So it's a game changer for some people.
It is. So the thing is that with my life, my because of the cultural thing, my mom's highest vision of me ever was going to be to be a branch manager at a bank, right? She wasn't she couldn't see past that.
Yeah, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but is it a cultural thing? Because I know a lot of Latinos, and it's not that work in the banking industry, and that they're at that mid-level management piece. There's a lot within mid-level banking.
Well, because they think it's this is a good job, steady job. Don't move, don't make any waves. Get your check, go home. It's a steady. It's it's a respectable job, and and for her, as long as I finished high school, that was amazing, right? Because you got to think about the background. I mean, they came from Cuba, and you don't want to make too much moves. You might get arrested. You might get locked up. In Cuba, right? Yeah. So their lifestyle was a little bit different. It's just hey, just keep working, just don't make noise, and just get your check, go home.
Yeah.
That's not how I think, but it's just how some people think coming from other countries.
So, Mike, what you got, man? What you got, Mike?
I got two questions, but I'm gonna save that one for later. So the first question is, I say, Lloyd, what is a challenge you have to not promise these people the money, but you got hurt. How are we gonna talk us? Me get paid and you get paid.
Yeah. So one of the things what I learned at law school is the word maybe. Maybe it's highly probable. It could happen. All these. The reason why lawyers can't give you definite words, because people will push you well, how much exactly am I going to get? Well, it depends. It depends on your injuries. It depends on the policy. It depends on if they're collectible. Can you get paid from this person? Yeah. And then the thing is that some people are legitimately injured, and then some people, I'm not going to say they're not injured, but they're might be a scratch on the car, and they're like, I want $1 million. I'm like, come on, really? A scratch on the car, you want $1 million? Oh, in my pocket. Wow. Expectations.
Expectations. So my expectation is, how did you decide to transition to get into community service to help the youth?
Man, I've been doing it since I had the clinic. So I've been doing community service for about 23 years, right? And 23 years, I've been doing a lot of stuff with the community. Especially when I had the clinic, we had events, like we actually had people dress up in like costumes, for example, like the Easter Bunny. It was actually my wife's mom before she passed away, and go to like daycares and stuff like that. And then we had these big events at the office that we gave out free food and bounce houses and stuff like that. I did that almost every month, and I did a lot of things for kids there. But what started all that, to answer maybe better answer your question, is that I went through a period of time that things got really hard for me. Financially got really hard for me. And at first I did it for selfish reasons. I was like, man, you know what? You start having first world problems, but you think they're real problems. But when you, in hindsight, they're literally first world problems, right? At first I did it because I was like, I need to see people that know worse than me at first. That way I can feel better.
About myself.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna listen. Hey, this is the real talk here. So like that was the initial prompt that I started going to it. And then I started saying, you know what? I actually feel good about doing this. I actually enjoy it. Like I don't have an expectation. The way I see it, man, is the more people you bless, for whatever reason, you get blessed back.
I agree.
Absolutely.
It's not from that person. It just globally you get blessed. Just life gets a lot better for you. And so I don't have an expectation. Like if I speak to a school, if I do whatever, I don't think, if they call me, awesome. If they don't call me, that's fine.
Right.
But if I can change one or two or three of those people's lives, well worth it to me.
Right. So, I mean, you're looking at the return on investment from the global standpoint, because that's the way I approach everything. I truly believe that the hard work I put in, helping people, regardless. And now here's the thing is, you can help a lot of people and open doors and give them opportunities. But like I always say, I tell my daughters and I tell everybody, and I said this in my Georgia Southern speech, if you don't embrace when that opportunity is there and you can't see it, then that's on you. And that's the pieces where I try to tell young people now, you have more opportunity now than any of the generations for us. My parents were civil rights era. They had limited opportunity. My generation came up, we had opportunity. And, and like I tell people, I made the best of the opportunities that were presented to me.
Yeah.
And so, I realized when you take advantage of the opportunities when they're put to you without putting excuses, you benefit. So from a standpoint as being a keynote speaker, being an influencer, because you're becoming an influencer now, how are you managing that of trying to expand your platform as an influencer?
Well, I do enjoy doing a lot of mentoring. So I do like to speak at the schools. I do like to I mean, as you can see, I produce a lot of content on a lot of different things. I think through education, through helping people start seeing you as an expert in things. They start seeing you as like, you know what, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's a good person. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. So it definitely builds the law firm, for sure. It builds my personal branding. And then anything that I may do, like I'm started a new company called Med Legal Safekeep, and that happened at an almost tragic experience with my dad, which we can talk about as well.
Okay.
And that keeps track of your medical and your legal stuff all in one place with documents and everything else. So the reason I bring it up is because when people trust you as an individual, they see you, they see your heart, they know who you are. Whenever you make any moves, no matter what you do in life, people say, you know what, I like that person. I trust that person. I'm going to follow that person. I'm going to support that person. So I think that as an influencer, you have a social responsibility because people look up to you and they follow you and they trust your advice. So you always have to keep that in mind on whatever you're doing. Gary Vee talks about, when you're doing tons of content, eventually, if you're lying about some of the stuff, you're going to get caught at some point.
Right. Your credibility has got to get challenged. And I think that's a lot of people that get into wanting to influence are chasing money. And I told someone a long time ago, and they asked me, well, how much money are you making this? And I said, look, I love doing the content. If I ever get paid, so be it. I said, if it gets there, it gets there. Because what I found out is so many people see these few folks that already had some money from somewhere else, some kind of backing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, look, he's blowing up. Yeah, but then you find out down the road that person was broke, and all these guys that were like big at one point, they aren't big now.
No, at all, at all. I mean, good example of this. Me and my daughter just talking about the other day. MC Hammer, like remember MC Hammer? Like that dude had like a massive entourage, and he splurged, did all this stuff, and then he became like super broke, and now he's trying to like do all right, but but you know what I'm saying, he flossed too much. And what happens is that a lot of these influencers, some of the times it's not even their stuff. They go to car shows, they're next to a car, they're taking pictures of other people, they're renting their jewelry, they're doing a lot of things to make it seem like they're doing something. But with time, you're going to see through that. And I hope our youth sees, I mean, some of them do, some don't, but like I was saying before, like people do look at you for answers. And the more they see you, the more, that they follow you, they can see if you're genuine or not. Because eventually you'll falter if that's not who you are. Yeah. And then when you go out to the store, people see you on the streets too. And they're like, oh yeah, Mr. Reyes, I seen you. Like, oh, you look just like the videos. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't use Photoshop. I don't use filters. It's who I am. Right. Yeah. But the point is that people see you out, they recognize you. You have a certain role that you've created, that who you are, and if you're not genuine as an influencer, you have a responsibility to be that person who you say you are.
Oh yeah, your facade really, your persona really matters. Yeah. And it's funny you said that, because I was in the gym one day and somebody goes, hey, you popped up on my feed and I watched you on YouTube, and I was like, all right, I appreciate it. But you sometimes don't realize, just because somebody doesn't click on your thing doesn't mean they're not watching. And the haters will hate, and then the people that are impressed will be impressed. But you'll be shocked about how many people are actually looking at you on Facebook or Instagram. They may never comment on your stuff. They may never click on your stuff, but they're watching.
They are. It's funny about haters. I actually used to not like haters, and now I love haters.
Oh, you gotta have them, man. You gotta have them, man.
Well, because I used to be like, man, these people are hardcore, and now I'm like, yo, I want them to talk more, because the more they talk, the higher I go up on the algorithm.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
I had a question, man. I see you got a podcast too, bro. Check it out, man. I like it. So, what do you talk about? I mean, I just peeped it right now. That's a pretty nice little setup. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's called the ER room, and kind of very similar, like doing things on not just law, like law. She was a doctor. I talked about different things with medical, whatever the case is. I talk about, like, I brought the gentleman that was on before. He was a pastor. We talked about his church and about like what he's doing to raise and to build the church up. I asked some of the hard questions that people like. Well, what happens when you grow too much? For example, like, are you going to lose that connection? So, I try to bring in like influential people that are, are hopefully change leaders in our society, to have conversations. Not always is it about like law, because law is what it is, but law is kind of boring sometimes. I mean, who wants to listen to law? I mean, as a lawyer, I don't want to do it either all the time, right? So, what can get people, what can improve people's lives? That's what I want to talk about.
So what keeps you so authentic, man? So really, Ed, what really makes you want to be your authentic self?
Bro, the thing is that I want to be able to walk in a room, any room, and somebody in that room says, I heard about that guy. I know that guy. He's a good guy. I think about that all the time. Like, I'm like, I want to walk in a room and just a random person be like, oh, wait. And actually, this happens to me. Like the other day, I was at my office, a patient, because I'm on a 4-story building. I'm on the second floor. And a patient of a doctor's downstairs. She's like, oh, I follow you on Facebook. And actually, I've seen you at these events, and you're such a great guy. She went on. And I'm like, wow, how are you? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, cool, right? But that's kind of the vibe that I want, man. It feels good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. No, I'm not going there at all. But what I'm saying is that I want to be able to walk into a room and say, you know what? That's a good dude right there.
So why do you think so many people in America right now are so many young people? They want to be influencers. So many young people are driven by money. Yeah, and it's funny is I went back and had to do some thinking about this. Were we driven by money in the '80s when I was in high school? But you know what? We were never driven about money. We were more driven by status. And it had nothing to do with money. It was about titles, or it had to be sure that the family name was protected.
Sure.
And I think they've gotten away from that to the point now that they think they get on social media, and I don't really think they realize how many people just lying on social media about how they floss and broke.
Bro, I mean, it's amazing how much they're lying about flossing. I know a lot of people that even girls that you come in, they have the red bottoms, they look on, and then you get to know them, you're like, broke as shit.
That's right. They are. They are. And everybody's like, somebody will call me and say, "Oh, they got 900 followers." I don't care. I said, "But look, man, have you seen them driving in the, and you don't see them in the Lambo or
bro.
Down to Fort Lauderdale on the weekend. You can go rent one." I told my daughter I was down to Fort Lauderdale. I said, "Look, I can go down here and rent this for $500 for the weekend."
For sure. Yeah, man. So like the thing is that everybody's chasing the bag. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening right now. But it's much harder than what people actually think it is. What happens is that people are looking for clout. They're looking for followers, looking for whatever. And then with time, their fakeness maybe becomes realness at some point, maybe. But you fooled a shit ton of people trying to get to that point, and the younger kids, they're like, "Oh, I want to do that." But being an influencer, just that by itself is work. Like if you're trying to, like you really put the work in to try to make it happen. Like I've had employees, like I have I've hired lawyers before, and some are straight out of law school, and they think that they can get what I have, and they just started. Like I had one, he came to my house, saw the cars and the life,
he's a lifestyle.
The lifestyle, and he's like, "Oh, I want this like now." I'm like, I want
it next month.
I want it like next month. I'm like, bro, I've been doing this for years, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work that way. They want this microwave. They want this. I would say Twitter. They want this X. The Twitter/X life, like instant gratification. That in real life is not like that, man.
Yeah.
Like people see that. That's like Instagram, for example. Like they see the Instagram models and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, I want to look like that." You're 200 pounds, bro.
Yeah. No, you don't get me on that. You're gonna get me triggered on that one, man. I'm like, look,
but
you're not putting.
I think it's an illusion. Everybody's falling for an illusion, man. It's so saturated with the visuals that the mind. It's just, with like, and for people, I'm in my 40s. We're a little older. We didn't grow up with all that.
No,
but that's all you know. That's all you know. Like, he got on in the beginning. No, he don't. Like, he might, but he might not. Like,
Yeah, they get their dopamine rush off all the craziness they see.
Imagine everybody's like this all day long on the phone, all day long. Like you can't, like they're not even paying attention to the real world. They lack social skills.
Yeah,
had a conversation with somebody, and they can't talk. They they're scared to talk to girls. They're scared of girls. You know what I'm saying? Like they have social anxiety, and now everybody is anxious, and they have a title, and they feel a certain type of way. Like,
I had a question, Edward. Do you think people live through that through the law firm as well? Like, oh, I'm about to get paid,
bro. So that happens a lot. Like,
I can imagine.
some people, you're like, all right, these people are legitimately injured, and I'm not saying the other people are faking it, but some of the conversations I have with people, I have to be careful of what my response is, because I still have a moral compass. I still have ethics I have to follow.
Right. Yeah.
But they're literally just like, yo, if I get the surgery, how much money will I get? I'm like, bro, you can't do that. If you get the surgery, it's because you need the surgery. Don't get the surgery for the case. That's a horrible idea.
Yeesh.
And people literally say, well, listen, I'll do this. Or they'll tell me, oh, I have this and this and this, and then they do it, and then for whatever reason, we got to pay the bills back. Oh, we got to pay them back. Yes, we got to pay them back.
Why is it always a struggle for people to realize that sometimes you got to give some money back?
You got to pay back the doctors that you got treated at, right? Or they'll take out like a settlement loan and they'll be like, oh, I got to pay the settlement loan. Yes, you took out the money. We got to pay it back. But no, people call me like, it is kind of crazy. Like I had one guy, he's like, I can't wait to get another accident. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like I never want to get an accident. If somebody told me this, give me your arm for $1 million, never.
Never happened.
$2 million, never. Now, if it happens, I'm going to get paid if it happens,
right.
But I'm never, ever going to tell somebody get a surgery or do something or get an accident to get paid. That's a horrible thing to do. But
so what's your take on Gerard, man, the guy in California that off the housewives, the lawyer off the housewives that, they're trying to, he's going through his thing, but his take on his ethics with all the different people he managed with all that money that he, misappropriated. How does disbarment work? Because my wife watches the housewives and I didn't never really hear about the story till I saw it on NBC about all the people he took advantage of, burn victims. I mean, he had $1 million class action lawsuit cases.
Bro, that's a special kind of scumbag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the Florida bar and so the trust account is like a holy grail. It's a trust account. It's not my money. I'm holding money in trust for somebody else. Now, do I get paid out of the trust account? Yes, because I did work and part of the settlement I get my cut, right? But the trust account is not my money. So what happens with lawyers, because that trust account gets pretty large, because imagine like we just settled a case not too long ago for $1 million, right? And in a couple hundreds here, hundreds there, but I might have easily $2 million, $3 million in that account.
In the trust
at any given moment. Imagine, and I can see the temptation, but I would never, ever do it. But imagine you're struggling as an attorney, for example, for whatever reason, or your lifestyle has become too great.
Like you inflated your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, you decide to buy the private jet, the Lambos, all this stuff, and just for whatever reason, and you have a slow month. Well, there's $3 million in this account right here. So what happens is that they start slow. They might take a little bit of money, they fund it a little bit, and then they get some money back and they pay it back. So I think it happens slowly. I think that's what happens slowly, because you're using it almost like a loan, because it's the money sitting there for a while until you settle out your cases, whatever the case it is. So attorneys, where you get disbarred the quickest, you can get DUI, you can get arrested for drugs, you can do a lot of things, and you still can be an attorney. Now, they're going to scrutinize you, and you may lose your license for a while. There's a lot of other problems.
But you can always get it back. You can work it back, work your way back.
Take money from the trust account, huge problem. Especially if it looks like a scheme, like you're taking, then you're going to get disbarred and arrested. So I hope he gets happens.
Yeah. Well, no, they already got him. Yeah. He's already going through whatever. But now, but my question was, you said it. People need to have integrity, not just lawyers, anybody. So let me ask you a question. So between discipline and motivation, which one is the one you're driving force these days?
You need discipline. Motivation, there's motivation everywhere, and motivation is important because it pushes you to go forward. But if motivation only gets you so far, and you need discipline to continue moving forward. So like I think that you need the motivation is like a spark, like a stove. And then eventually the fire needs to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I love motivational stuff, but it only goes so far. But if you don't keep putting the consistent work over and over and over again, it's pointless.
Hey, Mike. So before we get out here, what questions you got for Ed, man? You got anything out of the ballpark?
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. He worked hard for what he got. Proud of you. That's a Latino as well. Let's go. And he got a podcast. Everyone, he got the website. Edward, man, it's a pleasure meeting you, man. This has been really dope, and bless your business and keep it moving, man.
Yeah, man. I love this. Man, I'm like super impressed. Like I love it. You're saying like videos on the other side, and I'm like, I've never been on a podcast so cool.
So before we go, roll, man, what advice you have? Like, so when we run this and the young people see it, it's gonna run on Facebook and everything and Instagram. what advice do you have out there for anybody that's struggling? Because we do live in the 21st century where everybody's claiming they're struggling with something. So what words of wisdom nuggets are you going to drop that try to help that person, fight for another day?
I think you shouldn't chase. Don't try to get pennies for dollars. What happens is that people try to get quick, get rich quick schemes. They're trying to do something to get some paper real quick. Long term, that doesn't work. If people are dedicated, they put the work in, they're consistent. Eventually, you chasing those pennies, it's pointless. If you want to make real money, like actual money, you got to put the work in. Nothing comes quick. Nothing comes like in a microwave. In the real world, you really do have to put the work in. And when people start seeing that you put the work in, people start recognizing you'll get paid more money if you're an employee. You'll open your own business. Opportunities open up, and you're just going to be ready to take it when it happens.
Oh, love it, man. I love it. And guys, with that being said, me and Mike G down here in Tampa, and we got Eddie Reyes, the firm. Check him out, guys, and check him out on IG. And with that being said, me and Mike G always say down here in the Tampa area, keep it
rolling.